236, 277. Hey, good morning, Misfits. How are you? Here it is Wednesday, March 4th. Have that situation. Hey, good morning, Misfits. How are you? Let me mute this over here.
Great day. Great day. Oh my God, I'm excited.
It is a great day. Good morning, everybody. I've got a little surprise here for you this morning. I think I do. I hope I do. Hope it's a surprise. Hope everybody's doing well. Hope everybody's having some fun. We've got some rain going on here. So I just saw a little note pop up. My internet is unstable, or maybe it was just talking about me. I'm not sure. But we've got some heavy rain, and there's some heavy rain going to be coming your way there, RBP, if it hasn't already. Yeah. So that being said, good morning. This is a Misfit Call. Today, we're going to have a conversation about how do you identify and how do you absolutely get clear on your business. I'll share with you some questions. I'll share with you a training I just went through with my students. And if that's something you would like me to walk you through, we can have a conversation about that. But I'm going to share with you a little bit of insight about how it helps you to really identify your business so that you can identify your message so that you can get good at telling your story. So that being said, let's see here. We got participants there. We got the chat going on here. Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Latoya, you got your hand up?
Yes, can I share something really quick? Because I'm so excited. Yes. So look, I've been writing with my left hand, right? Every day, like about 4 or 5 times through the day. And I noticed new neural pathways. And I'm just so excited because I had got an aha moment by visualizing. And next time, don't say rain, but say liquid sunshine, because every day is a wonderful day. Some people look at rain as like, whatever, gloomy or whatever. But no, you look at liquid sunshine. So next time, say liquid sunshine. That's my aha.
There you go. Absolutely. Every word has vibration. So understanding that, it's very important to understand the story that we tell out to the world. So I'm going to give you some ideas here this morning that I've worked with people on over the years that allows them to have a little bit more success than average. Not much, just a little more. And we'll go through that. But the other thing I want to do is I want to welcome anybody that's new. Listen, I'm just looking through the list here. There might be 1 or 2 new people on this call this morning. I appreciate it if you are. Welcome to the call. If you're new, drop an N in the chat. We'd love to have a conversation with you and say good morning, hello. We'd like to welcome you to the Misfit Call. So we can do that. Let's see here, get this right. There we go. And then the other thing that I want to do is let's go ahead. Hey, Joan, I thought that was a new name. Maybe. Good morning, Joan. Great to have you here. Y'all drop some hearts in the chat for Joan. Say welcome, welcome, welcome. Why did I start this call? December 18th, 2018. I decided that was the day I had enough. I had enough with conversations of hearing people struggle, of people buying resource after resource after resource, book after book after book, tape after tape after tape, audio after audio after audio. And 6 months, a year, 2 years later, they're still in the same spot. They're attending events, they're spending a whole bunch of money, and they're getting some good information. And good information is awesome. It's how do we apply it? It's how do we turn it into our own story? So I'm going to go through maybe 1, maybe 2 presentations with you this morning. 2 different presentations. Maybe I'll save the other one for tomorrow. But today I want to ask you, who are you? Who are you? Who are you, and who is the prospect going to see? And if they're going to see you, what do they get from seeing you? What do they get from being around you? How do you create your USP? Some of you have been around training long enough, you know what your USP is, right? Your unique selling position. So I'm going to share with you mine. I'm going to share with you a version of mine that I did a while ago. It's been updated, but I'm going to share you one of the first ones that I've done, right? I shouldn't say that. One of the reviews I did probably 7 months ago. Was it that long ago? Maybe not. But I'm going to show that to you. Oh, and by the way, let's go ahead and send out our 3 messages. For those of you that are new to the call, I ask you to send out 3 messages of love, of joy, of gratitude, of an emojicon, of a smiley face to people that are important in your life. Just a reminder, not that you ever take them for granted, but sometimes we forget to thank them for who they are and what they do and how they make us feel in the world. So it's kind of important that we let the world know that we appreciate them, right? And it doesn't take but a second. And here's why it's important to do that. When we send out gratitude, when we send out love, when we send out appreciation, we actually are making space for it, right? Imagine if I had this cup and it was completely filled? Yeah, if it was completely full. It was completely full. I couldn't get any more in it. And if that was coffee, right? If you drink coffee or you drink tea or you drink a cold beverage and it's full and it's been full for a long time, it gets room temperature. How many of us are running around at a room temperature? So when we take some out, when we send some out, we can send it out in love and joy and happiness and desire. It gives us room to put back more of what we want and less of what we don't. It's kind of that simple. So, and then when you're done, Joan, you might be seeing some people drop D's in the chat. That means that's just letting us know that they're done. I want to kind of hold you a little bit accountable to some of the activities that you want to complete in your life. So there we go. Some D's are dropping. We got that going on. Let's see, which one am I going to do here? That needs to close there. This one needs to close there. So I think this is it. All right. So I'm going to share my screen. I'm not sure which, let me do this real quick. I got to see which screen it's going to play on. Okay, so it's going to play over there. Okay. Let's see here. Share screen. Now I want to share desktop too. Share. And Rhonda, if you could give me a oh, I don't want to cancel the meeting. Cancel.
Yeah, I can see it.
Okay, hang on. I need to, let me do it in play. Can you see it again now? Is it full screen?
Yeah, full screen, yeah.
Outstanding. Perfect. So who are you and what do you really stand for? Right? How many of you ever asked that? Oh, I got a thank you message. I think I know who that's from. The radio voice misfit. Who are you and who do you really stand for? That's what your prospect's going to be asking you. Wouldn't you agree with that? They're going to be asking you that. They want to know what it is that you're doing. They want to know what benefit are they going to get from you. So, hey, congratulations, Gina and Hyder and Joan and Kenzie and Shammy for sending all of those out. Awesome. And be powerful. Love it. So who are you? Here's a question. What are you about? What are you about? That's the question, right? Your prospect wants to know who are you about. And let me let you in on a little psychology. No fewer than 105 decisions are made the very first time you meet somebody. 105 decisions are made about you. Here's the scary thing. In the first 5 seconds, that's how fast your subconscious works. Your subconscious works at such a pace that you make 105 decisions about the person that's sitting down across from you, the person that you're meeting for the first time. You know, that's why they say, right? First impressions are lasting. You only get one chance to make a good first impression. What are you about so they know why they should listen to you? Do people know why they need to be listening to you? Do people need to understand what's the reason that they have for them to listen to you? Where's this at over here? So the question then becomes, hold on. I can see it there. Hey, Shammy, could you move your phone? There we go. No worries. Let's get that. Now, how do I get that out of here? Oh, hold on. Put that over here. Yay. Okay, so what are you indoctrinating them into? What do you think indoctrination means? When you think of the word indoctrination, What does that mean to you? Because that's what you're doing when you're having a conversation with somebody. You are giving them an insight into what the future of life is going to be with you, right? You're doctoring, you're doctrinating, you're doing some kind of action about what they think the rest of their future with you is going to be like. What are they going to learn about you that makes them want to learn from you? Now, I know this makes sense. This is common sense, because when they sit with you and they have a conversation with you, they're constantly nexting. What do you have your prospect nexting to? Do you have them nexting to a confusion state, a scared state? I got to learn nomenclature state. I got to learn what this is about this particular product. I got to learn a comp plan state. What are you teaching them? What are you indoctrinating them with that the next visit they've got to get better at? Because think about it. In an emotional state, who wants to have their next conversation be a worse conversation? Some of you are having ahas. I can hear you hitting your head real quick and pretty loud going, oh my gosh, because the reason they didn't have another appointment with you is because there was no way it was going to be a good appointment. Y'all follow me on that? So what do you stand for? This is important. Sometimes we try to be too many things to too many people. I'm for moms who desire to want to have control over their income. I stand for dads who don't want to miss critical moments with their children. I stand for first-time entrepreneurs who are looking for a mentor. I work with creative mindsets. I believe in the idea of sharing. I stand for the ones who are looking to support and live their dreams. I believe education of success needs to be demonstrated, not taught. Let me say that one again. I believe education of success needs to be demonstrated, not taught. I are ready to work with those who are ready and willing to take action now. I am. I'm just ready. I'm not going to, if you're, listen, I'll give you all I got, but if you're not ready to take one step, I can't take one step. So what do you stand for? We just did this. Come on, what's next? All this new technology. Is this making sense? Drop an S in the chat if this is making sense for y'all. It's important that you get this. It's important that you understand what it is that you're becoming. So my goal as a company at Murphy Holdings is to provide the immediate next step information and implementation action steps that will allow a student to take immediate corrective steps to move into action towards their critical short-term goal. Because of my experience in 30 plus years of performance success, together we will be able to instantly determine if their immediate short-term goal ties to their medium-term goal, eventually long-term goal. If it does not, we will rapidly make the necessary adjustments to identify the best starting goal to ensure success. This is critical so as to allow them to begin to see the momentum they are creating in their business, as well as keep the levels of frustration at a minimum, allowing them to achieve success that they have not had in the past. That's my business. That's my business. The initial phase of working with me will require being open to mindset shift and creating a new story of success to keep you inspired to stay the course. You decide to work with me, that's what you get. When I sit down with a client, a customer, a prospect, this is what I'm presenting. This is the conversation that I'm having a conversation with this. This is the conversation that I'm having so that they can absolutely, without a shadow of a doubt, this gets instilled. This is the indoctrination phase. Some of you have been on my call many times. Some of you, it may be the first time you're on my call. Here's what I'm going to suggest to you. Does any of that seem true, what I've said so far? You've not seen my mission statement. You've not seen a vision statement from me. So what I'm saying is that you've got to identify who you are and you've got to be true to who you are. So you've got to ask this question. What are you against? Right? We all say what we're for and we try to be everything to everyone. So here's what I'm against. I'm opposed to any business model that treats you like a number. I'm opposed to any business that recognizes you only because you create a check for them. I'm against criticizing anyone because of slow performance. How many of us have ever heard somebody out there going, hey, you should be doing more? You're going to do exactly what you want. Tell me what you want to do, and then I give you the action steps. You don't do it. Hey, listen, it's your problem, not mine. You take one step, I'll take two steps. You take another step, I'll match you. I do not stand for anyone minimizing somebody's ability or efforts. I'm sick of people being taught the sleazy way to build their business. Yep, no connection, just commission. I'm against the leader building their brand at the expense of their team. I'm opposed to fake leadership stories of success. The fake it till you make it, give me a break. I'm against leaders who teach fake it till you make it methodologies. I'm opposed to there being a certain rank or gender or skill you must have to get leadership training. You got to be at this rank in order for me to spend time with you. I'm against that stuff. I'm against people calling themselves mentors when they lack experience. Those are the things I'm against. That's the short list. What is my purpose? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you will do for people? What are they hoping you will help them with to do as they engage with you? What are they hoping you're going to do for them? When somebody sits down with you, do they even have an idea of what they're going to get from you? Or did you say, hey, listen, I got this thing. I need you to, this is going to be awesome for you to get in business with me. I want you to be in business with me. Do they even know what they're getting when they get, what do they get besides the business? You know why a lot of people's businesses go away? You know why a lot of people's businesses go away? Because they go away because they had no idea what they were going to get when they got you. So my goal is to establish a 7-day success formula with new entrepreneurs. A new entrepreneur. 7 days. In 7 days, we're going to have success. The challenge is I'm not talking 90 days out. Nobody can figure 90 days out. Nobody can figure out 9 days from now. To activate proven success formulas with established entrepreneurs for the next 30, 60, 90 days. If they have had any success at all, we start with a 30-day program, not a 1-year program, not a 6-month program, 30 days. We're going to go back to, this is Vince Lombardi. This is a football. This is the business of the shared economy. To create business success story that allows you to stay engaged in your goals and activities necessary to reach short-term, mid-term, and long-term goals. To establish daily accountability patterns that allow you to see daily success. To teach environment management skills and techniques that allow you to remove stress from your daily activities. To help you design your vision and mission statement. To help you craft your personal story, your business story, and that when told inspires others into action. This is what you get when you work with me. This is what I'm having a conversation with. When I'm talking to a prospect, this stuff is leaking out. These conversations are leaking out in this conversation. What is your USP? So what's your unique selling position? What makes you different? What makes you stand out among the competition? Well, here's a short list for me. My current organization of 30,000 plus entrepreneurs. So if you want to know if I can create success, yeah, I've done it in the last 24 months with over 30,000 people. My message is filtered down, filtered through, and trickled into these individuals. I've been paid to speak and train in over 30 countries. I've been the vice president of a $200 million MLM company, so I understand the corporate perception and how to build and leverage a corporate company story to build your business. I'm a 3-time #1 best-selling author on Amazon. I've been doing a live 1-hour training call and have had over 8,000 people attend it in just the last 12 months. I've built an organization in 15 different countries successfully. I'm asked to speak regularly at major industry events. That's what separates me. I don't know that there's anybody on this call. I don't know that there's anybody that I could come across that would have this unique selling position. There's something that's unique about you that is completely different, that is completely unique to you. The challenge is we got to dig it out of you with a shovel. We got to hit you with a pickaxe to try to get out what's your unique selling position. And your unique selling position could be some trauma from childhood, could be a bad marriage, could be a great family life. If you've had a great family life, if you have a family life that is absolutely perfect when you grew up, you're an odd bird in today's society. That's a unique selling position. Sometimes we say, geez, I don't want to feel like that. I don't want to sound like I'm bragging. That's your unique selling position. That's what makes you unique. Tell your story. The second you get your story told, the second you learn how to tell your story, the second you learn how to weave your business story, your personal story, your financial story, your society story, what you've done for charity, what you've done in your faith, you start to weave that story. See, the business we're in is a business of life. It just happens to have a compensation plan called network marketing. That's a compensation plan. That's not an industry. I actually do the work I teach, and I produce the results I would like to see. Who is my customer? So my ideal customer is a female aged 27 to 47, educated, either traditional or real world experience. Do you know your customer? Do you really know your customer? They have drive. They have a family to support. They're married or single. They have some social media experience. They can perform basic marketing tasks like posts, lives, and direct DMs. They may be new to entrepreneurship and they've been looking for solutions, and they've tried 101 different things only to be stuck in the same pattern. They're courageous enough to implement proven tactics and strategies to reach new goals. They're coachable, they listen, they take action, and they follow direction. That's my ideal customer. What's my customer's biggest issues? Do you know your customer's biggest issues? So here's what mine are. Each and every day, what do they wake up working about? I should have said worrying about. If it isn't for this, they wouldn't have so many sleepless nights. What's the pain point they have almost every moment of every day? So here's the pain points for my customer. They believe they missed their chance to create economic freedom. They've put their faith in someone else to provide it for them. The lack of return on their efforts. They worry about if they're undercompensated for the time they put into their work. They lack long-term security. They fear any change would have a negative effect on their ability to provide for their family. They feel the lack of experience to achieve success in today's economy. They take menial jobs because they lack confidence. They take minimum wage because they'd rather flexibility over stability. They don't believe they can find an opportunity that would provide maximum return for the limited time they have to offer. That's the pain points of my customer. So when I'm having my conversation, when I'm looking for my ideal, the law of attraction, your vibration creates your tribe, right? These are the conversations. These are solutions I'm talking about when I'm having a conversation. How do I solve this pain? How do you solve each and every one of those? Well, number one, I explained the current economy is actually looking for this avatar. They're actually looking for the person that I described and how they're perfectly positioned to become an influencer in their demographic. In doing so, they will be compensated to bring targeted solutions to this community. Depending upon their age, they have been led to believe that someone else will provide for them. That someone is either left in a divorce or was never committed to the marriage. The solution is to establish and establish a proven plan to provide income via community support and individual support. Teaching them how compounding efforts produces compounding returns, letting them see the power of the community and simple systems that are already established to maximize the returns on their efforts. Starting to see how when my dialogue has a conversation with somebody, it leads them into this particular philosophy. This is when I have a conversation, this is the only thing that's running in the background of my programming. Helping them establish a new story that someone of their skill set is already qualified to leverage the current economy and how to teach that to others if they want to. Educating them that long-term security is based on the amount of income they get to keep, not just make. How an extra $300 to $1,500 on a monthly basis adds up quickly to deal with the bumps in the road of life. See, this makes a big difference to a mom who's 20 and trying to figure out life. The same thing as it makes to a mom who's 45, 50 years old, trying to figure out, I've got the kids' sporting event that I need to make a donation to. An extra $300 to $1,500 saves a lot of stuff. They say the average family, if they had an extra $400 a month, would end so many divorces, because most of divorces are breakup over money. How do I solve the pain? Educating how to create safety nets in their world based upon a complete understanding of their lifestyle, not just their working efforts. How do we create a margin in somebody's life? When you're having a conversation with somebody, are you worried about getting them enrolled? Or how do you create enough margin in their life so that they've got family time, so they've got time to attend their church, so that they got time to attend their sporting events, so that they got time to do all of these things that they want to do, not just write a check to you to get involved in your business or to learn how to take your product or use your back office. Educating them how to create safety nets in their world based on a complete understanding of their lifestyle, not just their working efforts. Today's economy is not about talent acquisition. It's about application of learned experiences. Anyone who has made it to adulthood has enough real world experience to be compensated better than average when that experience is applied correctly. Tell me that's not true anywhere in life. Not our model, not just our business. Where is that not true? Anyone who has made it to adulthood has enough real world experience to be compensated better than average. But when you fill out an application, how many of you have ever filled out an application you've been overqualified? Why would they not take you? Oh, well, it's not a good use of your talent. If you're looking for a job and you need something to be able to put money on your family's table, why wouldn't they give you a chance? You're overqualified. How crazy are they not to take you? Well, they know you're going to leave. The only reason that person is applying is because they got nothing right now. Wouldn't you want the best in your community? How many people are we letting walk or slip through our fingers because we didn't allow them to use the qualifications they already have? We think they need to learn our stuff. The days of reducing yourself to minimum jobs because you need flexibility are long gone. Learning how to apply your talent and experience requires you to look at the new economy in a way that serves you better. People are going out, 60 million people are right now in the gig economy. People are putting wear and tear on their car. People are using their car. They're signing up on an app. They're clicking a button, and all of a sudden they get to go drive people they don't know, people they may not like, people that may not smell good, people that may do all of this stuff, people that may absolutely scare the bejeebies out of them so they can go make 40 bucks a day, 50 bucks a day, 100 bucks a day. And they're working 10, 12, 13 hours. Why? Because that's all that's out there. Don't you think that we have a better way? Don't you think that that if we had the confidence in our own business model that we could have a conversation with people? But we need to understand their business model. Most people don't understand that business model. We just say that it's a stupid business model. Is it possible to have a highly profitable business and the flexibility to decide when you want to do it and when you want to turn it off without losing your established leverage? What happens if every other week you went on vacation with your company? You had a traditional job and every other day you wanted to take off because that's your child needed you home. They'd fire you in a heartbeat, wouldn't they? When we understand the business model that we have, when we understand the compensation model that we have, and we understand the flexibility that we have in this business model, I can't think of anybody that could ever compete with us. You know why they can compete with us? Because they're confident in their business model. Nobody's ever come knocking on my door for me to drive Uber, for me to use Uber. I drove for Uber for a year. I probably did 20 trips. I wanted to see what it was like. I would take the Hummer. I have an H2, and so I would go pick up people in the Hummer. And they'd be like, this is you're driving Uber? Yeah, I love to meet people. I probably may start doing it again because a buddy of mine, Tom Chanel, talks about having people captive. Talk about people who want to pay you to learn about your business. That's a whole nother story. Let's see here. What else we got? There's 9. Okay, so then it's going to stop right there. So now that you understand a little bit about what happens when did I stop sharing? Yes, here we go. Questions, comments, thoughts. What came to you as you heard this? What came to you as you saw this? I'd love for you to go ahead and raise your hand and we'll have a conversation about it. But understanding that this business model that you're in, this is a multi-million-dollar business and you're treating it like it's selling Girl Scout cookies in front of Walmart. Nothing against selling Girl Scout cookies in front of Walmart. But I'm not going for a badge here. I'm not going for a ribbon on my sleeve. I'm trying to do something to put your absolute best foot forward in a multi-million-dollar business. My business right now will do $15 million this year. Could be 50, could be closer to 20. And you guys see me every morning. Business will do probably 15 million, probably closer to 20 million this year. And if we open a couple more countries, could be closer to 35 million. And you guys see me every morning. You see me at my best, you see me at my worst. This is a level of professionalism. Now, what you don't see is you don't see me in my business world. You see me in my mentoring world, in my desire to help the world have a better place. You see me in my soft-heartedness. You see me in my desire to help you wake up to your own capability, your own capacity. Some of you have been on a call with me where we were talking about business, and somebody hung up. When we hung up, they called me back. They go, "Who was that on the call?" If you're going to put your life in my hands, first of all, it's your life in your hands. But if you're going to allow me to step into your world of taking care of you, if I get to take care of you, the roles change. This is me being an open conversation with you right now. Some of you just saw that business model that I went through, that who I am conversation. You're like, holy crap. I'd have never thought about that. It's why I have a $15 million business, $20 million business, 30,000 people. This business is part of my life. This is now when I sit down with my students, I sit down with the team, when I go down to Costa Rica in 2 weeks, maybe a little less, 10 days, 8 days, I'll sit down with the leaders and we'll have a business conversation. But when I sit down with the team, when I'm on stage, this is what you get. This is why people fall in love with me. It's the ability to listen, but it's also the ability to listen to hear where the problem is, not where I can win, how I can help you win. When you sit down across from a prospect, do they feel like they're winning? Do they feel like that, oh my gosh, I just won the holy grail. I won the golden ticket being able to sit down with this person. I had no idea I was going to get this kind of leadership. So we got Manny, we got his hand raised. Good morning, Manny.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, brother.
How you doing today, sir?
Outstanding.
Yes, sir, as well as am I. So the first thing I thought of was, I don't know if you ever seen the movie The Pacifier.
No, I haven't.
Okay, well, you made me think of a scene in that movie. But 2 questions. One was what you just said, right? Making someone feel that they won the Holy Grail speaking to you. So how can you make someone, I guess, feel that?
Yep.
And 2, that presentation that you just showed us, when do you show that? Do you show that every time? Is there the perfect time?
That's an internal document. That's for me to know who I am.
Oh, okay.
Right. I share that with my students when they say, okay, I want to build my plan. Okay. Here's slide 1. Let's build yours. Here's slide 2. Let's build yours. Here's slide 3. Let's build yours. That's not something that the general public knows. I shared that with you so that you could see, how does he always come up with a consistent path to his dialogue? Listen, if you want to learn about the comp plan of my company, you do not come to me. It never said anywhere on there that I understand my company's comp. You look at Rhonda shaking her head. You do not come to me if you want to learn my company's comp plan. You do not come to me if you want to learn our company's ingredients. You do not come to me if you want to learn what countries we're in. I'm only know the countries that I'm in. I know my story though. I know that when I sit down with a CEO, a CMO, anybody at the C-suite level, I sit down with the top leaders of across the industry. When I step on stage at the ANMP, the Association of Network Marketing Professionals, as the MC, that stuff, that story that you see that was flowing through there, who I am, comes out on every single stage that I stand on. Every morning that I get on these calls, every one of those come out. That's why when you hear me have a conversation, that's why I have a certain lane that I operate in. It's why I have a smart people around me, like every one of you that pour in information, right? The Rondas of the world. That's why I'll always stop. Whenever I stop, when I go do my training, the first person that I bring in is that other brain that comes in that sees things, that goes, ooh, I saw all of this stuff. And I'm like, God, I love having people around me that are smarter than me. So that presentation never gets out, but that's who I operate as at a core. That's my card carrying Sean G. Murphy card.
Wonderful.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, you can turn it off. Thank you. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. So it's more of a personal reminder.
But that's my mission statement. So if I were to put up blank slides for every one of you, of those slides, it might take a while for us to fill that out, to fill that in.
Yeah, that was my reason behind asking, because I'm gonna rewatch it on YouTube, and I'm actually gonna make that for myself.
Well, you know, this one, because this is a training that I do. I don't know if it'll be available on YouTube. It's there right now, but I don't know if it'll be available on YouTube after this, because that's
Okay.
I mean, it can be, it might be, I don't know yet. But that if
Hey, I
somebody
don't blame you.
if somebody wants to go through that, I'd be happy to walk you through that. That would be a fee-based conversation, but it's important for you to invest in it, because to go through and watch what I just did is gonna sway you to answer things the way I answered them. You need to have somebody walk you through this that understands you, to help you create you, to ask you challenging questions for you to create you. So it's a service I provide. So I'm gonna encourage you guys to sign up for that service. And because you all are here, I'm sure there'll be some kind of special fee for that. Donald, I hope you're safe out there, brother. Man, I saw some heavy liquid sunshine coming your way today that you already were having. So hope you're good out there. So that being said, we'll figure that out. But
okay, yeah, I'll definitely contact you on the side for that then.
Cool.
But back to that first question, right? How
Yep.
does someone feel valuable speaking to you, right? Not that this has anything to do with it, but it was just a super funny moment for me yesterday. I was speaking to a prospect, and we're conversating, and just to throw in that comp plan thing you said,
Yep.
I've had the most signups currently without even bringing up the comp plan. It's crazy. And I was speaking to this person, and they got, I'm telling them, we're conversating, and they're like, yeah, I heard it was a scam, that there's a monthly. I'm like, yeah, that's correct. And thought I was about to say something, and bop, she hung up on me. And I just laughed. I laughed, and it was super, it wasn't, I think a couple months ago I would have been upset, and it probably would have messed up my day. But I kind of just patted myself on the back how I was able to just giggle about it. And I texted her, and I told her, hey, thank you for your time. It's unfortunate we couldn't finish our conversation, but best of luck to you. So
Yep.
it was just like a super, it's kind of like out of my body experience.
Yep.
And I was like, wow, man, you've come a long way. So I just wanted to share that. But yeah, that question of
So let me show you how you already know the answer. You want me to make it real simple for you, or do you want me to give you a complicated answer?
real simple, sir.
Real simple. Next time you pick up your son, do you think he knows that you love him?
Yes, sir.
That's it. You already know how to do it.
Perfect.
You get it, right?
Yes, sir, I do.
You get your state of mind. Now, you can be pissed off, you can be mad, but if he's crying, all of a sudden that stuff doesn't matter. When you sit down with your prospect, imagine if you were going to pick them up and hold them, and you were going to care for them, and you were going to give them all of the love that you had to give. You were going to give them all of the joy that you had to give, because they're hurting right now. Nobody sits down with you because life is perfect. Nobody agrees to have a conversation with you because they're doing amazing. Now, there are those people, we all know it, that the only reason they're going to sit down with you is so that they can try to cross recruit you. That usually doesn't work when people have a conversation with me. It usually winds up, yeah, it's a fun conversation. But for the most part, for people who are really going to sit down and have a conversation with you, they're going to sit down with you because they're hurting. They're not going to show it. They've got their armor on so thick. They've been beat up and run through the ringer so many times that they're so good at pretending. They almost believe it, but they're hurting. There's a pain there somewhere. They're not able to give their kid a bike. The Christmas is coming up 6 months, 8 months from now, however long away it is, and they're worrying about it already. They've got a family reunion they've got to get to, and they can't afford the plane ticket or the gas to get there. They've got a summer vacation that they've been planning for 2 years, and all of a sudden they had a hiccup last November, and now their family finances are gone, and there's no way they're going to take the kids to Disney World. And you're worried about teaching them 8 ways to get paid in the comp plan. Give me a break.
Yep, that makes sense, sir.
Cool. Awesome. Love you, brother.
Love you too. Thank you so much.
Awesome. Mr. Michael, Mr. Smiley Face, Mr. Energy. Good morning, brother.
Hey, Sean, how are you doing? How's
Outstanding,
everyone
man.
doing on this call? One thing that I was actually really grateful that you said, you mentioned what is my unique selling point.
Yep.
And you said that it was all right to say that like you had a great childhood growing up.
Your face flashed across my mind when I was saying that. So that's what I'm like.
One thing I've been doing though is I was holding back my story because like I'm not gonna lie, like I had the greatest childhood growing up. Like my parents, like even in this network marketing business, like my parents support me. And like I swear I loved every second of middle school and high school. So like I felt like not everyone would understand that. And I like kind of held it back. And like I felt like now it's like, no, I can say that. Like I don't have to feel guilty about that.
And in holding it back, that has made it a challenge for you to tell your story, because you're like, well, I feel like I don't fit in.
Exactly. That's what's holding me back.
So here's how you might be able to say that. I'll give you a couple of suggestions here, and then you can weave in your own personality. You know, one of the things that makes me unique, and I've been so embarrassed by it. Most people are embarrassed by their story because they had this challenging childhood. A parent left them, or there was some abuse that happened, or somebody was an alcoholic. I got to tell you, I'm realizing that I'm just as embarrassed about my story because it was a pretty damn good childhood. My mom and dad still love me. They support me. They do all of this stuff. So I understand. I know it sounds crazy that I was embarrassed by the story, but there's so much hardship out there. There's so much challenge out there that I felt uncomfortable saying that my life was pretty cool. Now, I will tell you some of the hardships I have had started when I started owning my own business, when I started my own professional career in this industry. I've had people reject me. You know, that was hard because I didn't have that tough skin as a lot of kids did growing up with rejection. It's been tough. I know it sounds crazy and oh, poor me, I get it. But I understand what it's like, that people that you care about who tell you no. Mm-hmm. When you want to help them and you can't. So I know it sounds odd, but I'm in this business because I've had a good childhood. I want to make the world a better place, and I want to make sure my kids have even a better childhood than I did growing up.
Mm-hmm. I like that.
I'll work on it. Pretty good story.
It is pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. It's only going to get cooler too. Like wait till the future. Oh.
Awesome. Does that help you, Michael? Is that enough? Or was there something else, another question you had?
There's one, but all right. So like another thing, like going off of what you said, I was holding this back. A lot of people have been saying like, no, like you have that business mindset too. Like, cause like I ran a business before the network marketing. Like I ran an old school door-to-door business. Cool. And like, it's almost like, I didn't want that to be like, oh, like that's what makes me different. Like I don't want it to be like other people are like, oh no, I can't do it. Like I'm not like the business. Like
dude, you want people to know that you've done it so they can follow you. The challenge is we got too many blind people leading blind people around.
Mm-hmm.
You've got some experience. Listen, I tell people 40 years in the personal development world, 30 plus years speaking on stage. People want to know, I'm just going to follow him. I'm going to hook my coat to him and I'm going to follow him. He's got the experience. He's got the talent. He's got the skill. He's got the scars. He's got the bruises. You want people to know you've been through this. Who's ever telling you that the fact that you've got business success, you shouldn't be talking about it? You should be talking about it. But talk about it in a way that allows people to follow you, not that you're better than them.
Yeah.
That's when people say don't talk about that, it's because the way they present themselves is that they're better than the average bear. You are better than the average bear, but you're only better so that you've left the breadcrumbs for them to follow. Every one of you has an experience that everybody can learn from. Emerson said, I think it was Emerson, I got to look up to see who said this. There's something you do so well, people wish they could do it half as well. So all of that experience is good. I would encourage you to figure out what you stand for and what you stand against. Because your niceness makes you, well, I'm okay. I'm pretty okay for everything. No, there's things that you just won't put up for. And I'd get clear on that because you need to polarize to magnetize. And you need to find out who's with you, who's not with you. And then don't worry about talking to people who don't fit into your, listen, there's people who talk about comp plan and money and checks all the time. My skin crawls. My skin crawls. I can't do that. I won't do that. I've got my checks from my very first network marketing company. Actually, the second one from 16 years ago, $4,000, $5,000 the first 2 weeks. I don't show those. It makes me feel weird in my first week to make $4,000.
This is awesome, bro. This is going to shape my whole day now because like I can like reshape it and like, you know, like to the way I want it to be. So I'm really excited how today's going to go from this.
Absolutely. And here's the thing. What if you knew the answer to everything and the only way you gave it away is when somebody asked you for the answer? Wouldn't you run around with just giggles and bubbles up your butt? You'd be like, I have the answer. All I need to do is somebody ask me. You'd be so excited. Oh, what's the answer to 7 + 7? I got the answer. Oh my gosh. The law of attraction really works. Does that help?
Yes, it does. I'm glad I got that off my chest. That was awesome.
Awesome. And think of what you paid for that answer.
Nothing.
You just showed up. Remember, I'm against people who teach success rather than demonstrate it. We're demonstrating it right here. This is what happens when I work with my people, is these exact same questions. When I get off this call in the morning, this goes on all day long inside of my organization. Stacy, Hemp Queen in New York City. I guess NC, right? Stacy, good morning.
Good morning, Sean. Good morning, friends and family. I hope everyone is having a wonderful, wonderful day, no matter where you are in the world.
Exactly.
So, Sean, I had the pleasure of meeting you on the 1st of this year, and I feel like my paradigm has really been shifting ever since then. And we did have a private call one-on-one together. And I did tell you some of my story. That isn't so pretty. Unlike Michael, I love that he is willing to go out now and share and not be ashamed that he has had a great childhood. Well, some of us didn't have a good childhood. Some of us I'm trying to turn my trauma and my abuse into a story so that I can achieve my short-term, long-term goals in my business.
Okay.
And I'm struggling with turning the trauma and the hard times and the hardships into a story that when I tell it, it doesn't make people just drop their jaws and walk away and forget about it, but it actually moves them to do something.
Okay. So the question is?
So my question is, I need to know my story, or I need to learn how to make my story appeasing to other people for my business.
Cool. So, couple of things. Did you ever go to the movies?
And I usually always fell asleep in the movies. Yes.
Okay. But have you ever gone to the movies?
Yes.
What made you go to the movie?
Somebody invited me.
Okay. Did you ever see a trailer and somebody else saw a trailer and you go, yeah, I saw that, we should go?
Yes.
Okay. So that's how you need to tell your story. You need to come up with a trailer that invites them to the movie.
Okay.
And so inside the trailer, there's drama. There's the beginning, middle, and end. Anytime you tell a story, every story you ever read, any story that's worth reading, there's a beginning, middle, and an end. So the beginning is listen, you know, when I was little and I had some serious issues as a child, be that family drama, family trauma, and all of that stuff. Who can relate to me that's had some family trauma when they were growing up? People will raise their hand, because now they don't know how serious your trauma was, because right, the splinter in your eye is more important for me to get out than the plank in my eye. So I always consider my drama worse than yours, right? My paper cut's worse than your broken leg.
Right.
That makes sense. So you want to relate it to the setting that it's in, whether it was molestation, whether it was abuse, whether it was alcoholism, right? My mom was an alcoholic. So so somebody whose mom was an alcoholic, all of a sudden they remember themselves getting beat all the time. My mom didn't beat us all the time. She loved to use shoes and wooden spoons, but it wasn't just out of rage. That was us because we did stupid stuff. we were boys. So there's a certain field that you can walk in. That's the trailer. Then when you get to tell the story, how did you get out of the story? How did you get through the story? Because anybody's listening to your pain, if you start to tell your story in the way that pain happens, when you start to tell the story that the way the pain exists and hangs in the room, all of a sudden your pain runs down your leg over to their leg, and now you've got them in misery, and now you can't get them out of their hole.
Right. And I don't want to do that.
So the story is how you got out of it. Where I am today, the reason I have my strength today is because when I was little, this happened. But at 17, I learned this. At 17, I became free, right? My story is at 14, I became free. At 14, when my brother was outed by his friend he brought home from high school, right? And he said, aren't you going to tell your mom you're gay? And World War III broke out in my house. It was 72 hours of, I wasn't sure if my brother was going to be alive or not, or if my mom was going to go to jail for murder. So I went out, and at 14, I sat down on the bench, and there was our two dogs right there, Spot and Pooh, right? Real original names, but they're sitting there, and I looked at them and I said, I will never have another bad day. And that was at 14 years old. And I've followed that path for the last 40 years. 41 years will be in August of this year will be 41 years. I've decided to never have another bad day. People need to know that I got out of that. They need to know that you got out of yours. Now it's still a struggle every single day. Every single day we have to wake up and decide, is this the day I still have a good day? Is this the day I've had enough? For 41 years, I've decided every single day, this is the day I've had enough, and I choose to stay on this side of the fence. So no matter the challenge, no matter the drama, no matter the history that you've had, people need to know you got out, because if you didn't get out, they don't think they can get out. And people will follow you because you got out. If everybody's in prison and somebody knows how to get out, what's the thing everybody's doing in the commissary? Hey, listen, I'm with you. I'm breaking out. What are we doing? Where are we going? The challenge is nobody knows you broke out, so they're not going to follow you. Does that make sense?
Yes.
So they got to know you broke out, because if you're in prison, why the hell am I talking to you if you're still in the hole? I don't need misery. I got enough misery of my own. I got enough of my paper cut. They need to know you got out. They need to know you're working on it every day. They need to know that it's a struggle every single day. And they need to know that you've got people around you, because if you're doing this all by yourself, if they don't know that there's a community, nobody sees you as an authority. People still light candles for me. I've been doing this for 22 years. And people say, I don't know what I'm doing. You know what? They're right. I'm rich. Let's move on. They need to know that there's more than you. They need to know and the more than you could be books, could be tapes, could be conversations, could be audios, could be whatever it is, could be your daily journal. They need to know that there's more than just you, because nobody thinks one person has all the answers, because that's called a cult. Right? Could you imagine if you were the first person talking about Jesus today, how fast you'd be run out of town? You got voices in your head. Really? Let's lock them up. But because there's a community, because there's a global community of Christians, because there's a global community of Muslims, because there's a global community of Jews, because there's a global community of fill in the blank, everybody feels it's not just about you. This is about us. Why are 47 people on this call right now? Y'all ain't my business. This isn't about compensation. This is about conversation. This is about you for helping me live my dream of being a better dad, better husband, of putting more smiles in the world. When I get off this call, if you follow anything that I've shared, anything that I've said, and it makes the day better, when Michael realizes he's made his day better and he goes out and he has more of what he wants and less of what he doesn't, I promise you that he's going to put some smiles in the world. And I promise you those smiles will show up for my bride and for my son, and I will never know anything about it. So all I can do is say thank you to Michael. Thank you to you, Stacy. Thank you to every one of you who goes out today and shares one smile, because one of those smiles will show up for my family. And for that, I'm in debt, which is why I do these calls every morning, to pay you back.
Thank you, Sean.
You bet. What'd you learn? What'd you like from that? What did you pick up from that? What'd you learn? One thing you learned, one thing you liked from our quick conversation.
That I need, is this for me?
Yep.
Okay. That I need to let people know that I broke out, that there was something that I broke out from. And you're absolutely right, because, you know, I share smiles all the time. I'm always uplifting people. I mean, I meet people and I do make them feel like $1 million. They feel amazing. But usually I walk away still feeling not so amazing.
That's what I was going to say. You make them feel like $1 million means you took $1 million out of your bank account to give to them.
And it's always like a picture perfect world when they look at me, I feel like. And I got to keep this status quo of what they expect to see, but because I guess they don't know I'm breaking out of something. And this trauma and thing too, that there's been past things from the childhood, but there's something recent in my life as well that I have to say I'm just breaking out of. And I feel like it's going to be part of one of the biggest things of my story when I learn how to share it. And
so Stacy, this just came to me, since we're talking about breaking out. Listen carefully, everyone. How long do you have to run when you break out? You have to run until when?
You decide not to run anymore.
No, then you'll still get caught. You have to run until you're proven what? Proven free. And proven free means you get to tell your story. Too many of us are locked up because we're still trying to run. We are running and we are exhausted and we're putting on the good face and we're giving people millions of dollars of our own so that we can hide in plain sight. Take a big breath. You stop breathing. Thank you. And it's scary as hell. I get it. Everybody has a story they're running from. The second you become free, the second that people know your story, the second that you know your story, changes the world.
So how do you get proven free, Sean?
You get comfortable telling your story. Listen, it wasn't 4 years ago, 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago, Christmas was the first time I told my story. When the Mom and Dad Preneur book came out, I couldn't sleep for a week because everybody's going to read my story. You know what happened when the book got released? Nobody gave a rat's ass about my story. They really didn't. But I was so scared to tell my story. My mom was dead. My dad is dead. They're both passed. I was afraid what they were going to think. They're gone. Well, yeah, but they can still see you. They're angels to pray to in heaven. All of those stories. I was sitting here and it was Christmas Eve. And a very dear friend, I was telling her the story and she was like, oh my gosh, you're coming on my call tomorrow to tell the story, just like I've done with many of you. I got on her call, couldn't tell the story. She's like, why didn't you tell me the story we talked about last night sitting on your couch in your home? I go, I'm afraid. She goes, there's nothing to be afraid of, says you. For 50 years, I've kept that story inside. It ain't easy. So guess what I had to do? I had to go back to work on me. Now you guys hear it once a week, probably. Now I'm free. They can't come lock me up anymore. Nobody's got power over me to lock me up. Nobody can look at me sideways and I go, oh shit, they know the story.
Yeah, and that feeling.
It kills you.
Yes.
It kills you. That's why I couldn't talk about how to teach somebody their story. I would talk to you about your why. I would talk to you about your stuff, but I couldn't teach you your story. I can now teach you your story because I know exactly what it was like. But yeah, but it was just your brother being gay. This was 40 years ago. You know what it was like to come out 40 years ago to an Irish Catholic family with probably a Russian Jew mother? Talk about you got to be in the front of the row of the church. I mean, it doesn't sound like a lot, but to our family, that was catastrophic. The namesake, named after his father, right? Michael F. Murphy, my dad, Michael G. Murphy, the son, the firstborn. Do you know what stories went around all of that pomp and circumstance? Wanted it erased. The screaming and the yelling and the clothes in the yard. And I said, I can't sit there anymore. I can't do it anymore. I just can't. And that's when I went out and I said, I'll never have another bad day again. Something inside of me clicked. Something inside of you will click. The day you've had enough will click. And you know what? The people who are around you, when they finally hear your story, it's going to be like somebody's got poo on their shoe. What is that? That's different.
Yes. Thank
But
you for
here's the
sharing
thing.
your story, Sean.
Well, and again, it's my story pales in comparison to some of y'all's stories. During that whole 72 hours, I got shoved, but I never got hit. I never got beat. I never got molested. Nobody died in front of me. Nobody told me I was a piece of shit. Nobody told me I was not good enough. Nobody said your family doesn't love you. None of that happened to me. I witnessed it. But some of y'all's stories are like mine's like a freaking walk in the park. But to me, it was everything. Your story to you is everything. Do not minimize that. It's what's holding you back. It's what's holding you up. That story you have right now that is just absolutely grinding your gut, that is absolutely just ripping your brain apart because of the fear of telling it. Listen, until you become vulnerable, nobody can be vulnerable around you. Now, it sucks that you have this shitty story until it doesn't suck anymore. And you realize that's the fire and the drive that's going to draw people to this lamplight around you. Light yourself on fire. People will come from miles around to watch you burn. There's two sides to this story. Nobody really cares. And the ones that do care are either going to go, I don't even want to be around that anymore, or they're going to fall more in love with you. Either way, you still got to be free. You can't keep running. Running is exhausting because it happens at a subconscious level, 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. and you're worried about every little look and every little twist and every little glance and, oh my God, they know, I think they know, they don't know nothing and they really don't care. They really don't.
Right.
What they care about is connecting with you at a deeper level. Does that help?
A lot. Thank you
Okay.
so much.
I'm going to have Rhonda jump in here in just a second, but I saw RC. Mr. Rob Cardenas.
Can I offer something just before?
Hold on just a second. I want to make sure if Rob was still here, because I know he was on and he wanted to say something. And
hey guys, how are you? Just wanted to say hi. Can you hear me good?
Yep, hear you great, brother.
All right. So just to, I mean, Stacy, big hugs. I mean, honestly, just own it. And, I love you. I mean, honestly, it's not easy. So I guess now I'm going to connect the dots. So Michael, I grew up with a, pretty stable, happy childhood and everything else. And, for those that, I don't know, maybe a little older now, life will happen. And then all of a sudden, the picture perfect, everything else, even if it's out of your control, like Sean has said, stuff will happen and you'll step in it. And so that's kind of what happens. And so you got to be able to actually have that courage to actually pull yourself up. And, obviously groups like this, help you out and everything else. But, and for those who can have that picture perfect, they learn from us as we tell our stories to be able to relate to other people. So important. But, I myself has kept my story quiet for a while. And now with life happening and everything else, it's not easy to be able to. And I've often had that big front because I've in my career, the hospitality business, I've actually had to have hundreds of people and be able to pull up the big fronts and everything else. Sean actually got me to wear a tie-dye t-shirt because I was the suit tie guy and everything else. So, but being able to be real is what's really important. So that's really kind of today. I appreciate all of you here. Thank you.
Love you, brother. Appreciate you, man. Thanks for always being there. Bob, you wanted to share something?
Yeah, real quick observation. I'll suggest that there's a third side to this coin that you've presented, and which is reflected in what you often say. You can be responsible to people, but not for them. And what I'm hearing in Stacy's presentation is, well, maybe, how do I tell my story in such a way that I influence them, that I, that I have a beneficial effect on them. When really the part of the answer is to get over the idea that you have to take care of people. And it's a thing that so many of us learn to do early in life. But once you get to the point where you recognize I have something to offer, it's up to them to decide whether they're going to take it or not. So my story, to whatever extent my story is useful, that's fine. But perhaps in many cases, I don't need to tell my story. I just need to take the position, assume the position that what I'm offering them is of value. And if they're not interested, next. Because I'm not responsible for you. I'm here to be responsible to you by offering whatever it is I have to offer, with or without my story. But it's hard to get over that habit of, well, I gotta take care of your feelings, otherwise I won't get the sale. So anyway, that's my story.
No, and I appreciate that, Bob. And it's important that's a powerful phrase that we share all the time. Be responsible to them, not for them. But when you've been, and again, it's addiction and it's the chemicals that run in the brain and everything else. That's where we all want to get to. Listen, I show up, I'm responsible to you, not for you, what you do with this. But it's taken me 40 years to get there. And this is an ongoing process. It's a step-by-step process. It's a community process. But to know that that's the end game, to at least have that on our compass to where we want to get to, that's powerful. Absolutely. RBP.
Hey, good morning. Woo, Stacy. Girl. I need you right here in my living room. I just want to put you in my lap and hold you for a little bit. Whew. Okay, so what came to me the whole time you were talking is I can give you a title, and it's called The Road to Freedom. And why not invite all of us down your road to freedom? You're scared to death to show us your road, but there's a ton of us and a ton of others around that want to take the trip with you because they need the same path and they just can't define it like you have. And you've defined that you're on the road to freedom, but you're scared to tell anybody that you're on that road. And it's okay to be on the road. At least you're on the flipping road. Was it yesterday or the day before where I said you can't drive a parked car? But if you're in motion, you can at least be steered in the right direction. So you're on this road to freedom. You have this ultimate power to start vlogging or blogging. I would vlog if I were you, about what it feels like uncovering what has happened to you and then becoming vulnerable enough to expose what's happened to you on your own time. But do it all the while you're telling people, because I can see it in your eyes, I'm not going to quit walking down this road. I might pull over on a picnic rest and hit a side road park here, but I'm not going to get off this road. I'm going to keep moving and I'm going to keep going forward. You're on a path that so many people, there's a woman on this call, if she's still on here, named Heather Love, if you've listened to her before, who has walked this path. The difference is she might just be a few more miles down the road compared to you, but you could link arms with someone like her. First of all, I know Heather's heart. She's freaking amazing. And it would help her to help you, one of those deals, it would help her. But you could liberate so many people with this story and how it unfolds, that it could be something that you would turn, you've all heard it, you turn your mess into your message. God's redeeming what has happened to you by giving you the opportunity to tell your story. And the whole reason you need to tell your story is because of the type of business that he's brought to you and that you're in. Your story, I can just tell, I can feel you just by looking at your eyes. When you first said hello, I thought, if this girl didn't end up in tears, I'm way off point. I can feel you. It's right there at the surface. And that is okay. These are the moments that you need to put your camera on, and you need to record yourself as to what it is it feels like, why you feel that way, what you're doing to bring this out, who's helping you bring it out, why it's important to bring it out. And let me tell you, when you start going down that train of thinking, you get out of the scared and you get into the vulnerable, because you realize how significant it is to be vulnerable and how helpful it is. Eventually, it will probably be profitable to be vulnerable. And that whole thing you hear swirling around your head, oh, everyone's going to run from you when they hear what you have. No one's ever seen it how bad you've had it. All those lies are lies. It's just lies. Because here's the deal. When you break open and decide to record this, and you don't have to share it yet, and you decide to record this, that's one lock turned on the door to freedom. And then when you start sharing bits of it, it's another lock on the door to freedom. And before you know it, as you welcome us in to let us hear your story, you're breaking those chains and you're opening those locks and you're walking out into freedom like you've never walked before. You see, the mind is the devil's playground. And if he can keep you there, he's got you forever. But you ain't there. And you're not going to stay there because you just exposed it to us that you're ready to walk out into the light. And this is why you got all these emotions swelling up inside of you, because it's like, oh my gosh, I'm fixing to tell my story. And girl, tell it everywhere. You could start, if you have Instagram or whatever you have, you could start doing little 30-second, 1 minute. Here's what's happened to me, and this is why I feel this way. This is what happened to me. This is why I feel this way. But y'all know what? This is what I'm doing to get this out of my system. And Stacey, that's your story. Your story is, before I got into any kind of network marketing, I was closed up inside and it was locked away. After getting around this community, I'm starting to release this. It is scary as, it's like scaring the skin off my bones. Scary, like scary. Say it however you want to say it. You don't have to use these texts. You can use your own stuff. And then you can tell them that's what it feels like right now. Y'all, I can't wait to see what it feels like when I get past this. And do you know what you're going to end up with? You're going to end up with thousands of cheerleaders going, come on, Stacey, come on. And when you post one of those days where you're like, y'all, I got to pull over for a rest, you're going to have cheerleaders going, it's okay, Stacey, we're here for you, Stacey. Come on, Stacey. Come on, Stacey. Let people in. The enemy hates for you to let people in and see what's happened to you, because it exposes him for what he's done to you. And when you shine light in a dark place, darkness has no place there anymore. And you are shining the light in your soul right now. And we can see it and we can feel it. And girl, it's all I can do not to just swift kick you right in the hind end and go, come on, girl, because I know what you're made of. And the way I know that what you're made of is because I know what you're made of because of how the devil hit you. How he's hit you. You're strong. You've got something inside of you that is so strong and so powerful. And I'm going to tell you, rise up, woman. Rise up to your greatness. Write it down. Share it. Call me if you need to. I can be soft and tender too. It's just right now you need a backbone because you're kind of limping. You're limping a little bit. I ain't going to let you limp. You're going to walk tall because, sister, you are not dead. You are on this side of heaven. You are still breathing. You still have energy in your body. Your heart's still beating. There is no reason for you to stop. And if it's on my watch, I ain't letting you stop. Whatever this is, I guarantee you we can walk through it all together. But you have something that I'll never have. And you can walk through that vulnerability in front of all of us. And it's going to change your world, girl. And it's going to be a good change. If you don't have my number, I'll give you my number if you need somebody else to talk to. But girl, you have everything you need right inside of you. I just keep hearing road to freedom story. This is my road to freedom story. This is my road to freedom story. See, you got people saying, I want to walk with you. And that's just people on the call. Sister, you are strong and you are beautiful and you are so intelligent and your heart is gold and you have everything you need to succeed. You're already successful by opening your mouth and being on this call and exposing your vulnerability at this level. Just keep moving forward. And I love you. You got an East Texas cheerleader that's about to jump out of her robe and her skin to prove to you how much I believe in you, girl. You got this. Does that help you? Oh, you're muted.
It definitely helps me, and I'm a crier. I cry when I'm happy and I'm sad, but this is a great feeling. Thank you to each and every one of you commenting and showing the love. I feel so much energy every time I get on these calls, and I'm always awakened in a different form, in a different level, and I'm on this road to freedom. And I thank all of you for allowing and accepting my vulnerability and listening.
That's it, girl. We love you.
I love you too. I love each and every one of you. I love Sean for showing up each and every day and providing this platform for us.
We're only good at a couple of things. When we decide what we're good at and then we go focus on it. Yeah, I did have a costume change, by the way.
I noticed that. I'm glad you exited when you did that and you didn't pull a Rhonda.
Yeah, no, that'd be good. So there you go, folks. Amazing day. What's your story? That's what it started out and that's how it ended. What's your story? What do you stand for? What do you stand against? What do people get when they sit with you? What do they feel like they're winning the golden ticket for? What do they feel like they need from you that they can't get from anybody else? That's what creates relationships. That's how you build relationships. Give them something they can't get from anybody else.
It's his back, it's his hips.
Is it?
Because when he came down the steps, he jumped down with both feet together.
Yeah. Okay. So there you go. I appreciate y'all. Y'all, thanks for showing up this morning. Thanks for showing up for Stacy. Stacy, thanks for showing up for us. And Bob and Rob and everybody else that shared with us this morning. Thank you, everybody. RBP, appreciate you so much. Let's go find our story. Let's go walk our own road to freedom and invite people along. Some people will get off. Some people don't live all the way in East Texas. They may live in Oklahoma and they get off your path earlier on. Just keep going on your path. There'll be more people that'll show up. There'll be people that'll come along. And there'll be people that head off on their own way because you taught them how to become free and they get to go to their own home. Appreciate y'all. RBP, any last words? I'm hearing something.
There's a lot stirred in me. I don't know that we have time for it. Everything you need is right there inside of you. Y'all heard it a million times from Sean. And the more I hear it, the more I realize it. And it's been an awakening for me the last couple of days. And it's not to the degree, Stacy, of your story, but it's my story. And it's speaking this into you is speaking this back into my heart. And you showing up and me being able to say that to you, it just resonates even deeper inside of me. So I never understood what Sean meant until probably about 4 or 5 months ago, that every time he sat with me, I taught him and I kept going, what? I learned so much from you today, Stacy. I learned from every one of y'all. And to sit here and to be y'all's student, y'all have no idea what you're doing for me. And so you're probably feeling a lot of gratitude and excitement, Sean, because this just catapults me into my calling and into what God has for me. So thank you to everybody from the deepest part of my being. The gratitude is unbelievable for what y'all give me and what y'all do for me. And we'll see all that come to surface soon. It's happening, but I don't know even how to put it into words. Y'all see, I can't even keep my hands still. I'm going to sit on them. I love y'all. Thank y'all so much for speaking into me and letting me have this platform to do what God's designed me to do. I love y'all.
I'm Sean Murphy, founder of Mental Profits. I'll see y'all where? At the next event. Y'all tell each other you love each other.
I love y'all.
Love you, family.
Love you, family.
Love you, Misfits.
Love y'all.
Y'all have a blessed day.
Have a great day.
Bye, Misfits. Have a great day.
Now, everybody. Love y'all.
Bye, y'all.